Sports Talk. Guys, we are back and we have some breaking news around the NBA world as Donovan Mitchell has been traded from the Utah Jazz to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Looks like Cleveland is trying to make a big splash acquiring the Louisville guard himself, Donovan Mitchell. Troy and Caleb, how are we doing on this fine Thursday afternoon?
Caleb, I'll let you. You doing good?
Doing good.
Yeah, I can't say I really expected to look down at my phone at work and see that Donovan Mitchell had been traded to the Cavs. Kind of a sneaky team that kind of just swooped in. You know, no buzz was happening about him to the Cavs. Like, absolutely.
You didn't hear anything?
I
I heard someone say, like, watch out for Cleveland. Nothing like my sources are telling me this or like nothing like that. But I definitely think I feel like I heard someone say, like, don't be surprised if Cleveland makes a run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they did, man, because, I mean, so breaking the trade down, the Cleveland Cavaliers traded Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, 3 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps to the Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell, and Colin Sexton did just sign a 4-year, $72 million deal via sign and trade. So what do you all think, man? Who do you think won this trade, first of all? Troy, I will start with you. Who do you think won this blockbuster trade?
Obviously, short term, it's always easy to say, you know, the team that got the All-Star won the deal. I think that is probably the easiest thing you can say. They get Donovan Mitchell. And honestly, like I know in our group chat, you guys were saying you would have rather, maybe somebody will get into what I was alluding to, but, you know, that there was one particular piece in Isaac Okoro that I'm surprised the Cavs were able to hang on to. I thought if the Jazz were to make a deal, like that would be almost like one of the top guys you would want to take off the Cavs roster. So they end up, like you said, with Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, and Ochai Agbaji. Colin Sexton at $18 million a year isn't bad value. I'm not a Colin Sexton guy, but $18 million a year in this market doesn't seem awful, especially for a team that probably won't be competing over the next 4 years. And again, another decent trade piece and an easy trade contract. So just on the surface level, I would probably lean Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, I think from like a quick glance, you obviously like, oh, the Cavs got Donovan Mitchell, like that's nice. But like I think now that we've had a little bit of time to think about it, I'm like, I like it offensively. Defensively, I question how it's gonna look from a backcourt perspective, because obviously you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who are like phenomenal rim protectors, and I think Evan Mobley could probably guard 1 through 5. Like I'm very confident in him. But when it comes to those two guys, I don't know. Like Donovan Mitchell's only like 6'1", like 6'2". Like he's not very big. Darius Garland's like 6'1", 6'2". So it's like you got 2 small guys that aren't known for their defense. That's where I question, and that's why I brought up, I don't know why they wouldn't have tried to get rid of Okoro instead, because I feel like Agbaji has the NBA body to be like a 3-and-D guy. Like when we did the summer league video, we were all high on him for it. Like he looks like he's ready for the NBA now. Okoro is like 6'5", 6'4", so I mean like he's not the biggest guy either, and so it's like I have questions about defensively, but I think from an offensive side, Donovan Mitchell alongside Garland and Mobley is going to be very exciting. Fred, what do you think?
I'm just not on the, oh my God, let's go get Donovan Mitchell, he's going to make us a championship contender train, because I don't think Donovan Mitchell's in that tier, if I'm being honest. I mean, I think it's a good move, and it definitely, you know, I think the Cavs got better short term, but, you know, you lose a guy like Ochai Agbaji, who I thought would be a perfect fit for them. I feel like I would have rather given up Okoro and kept Agbaji if I'm the Cavs front office.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know what they probably wanted Agbaji more, you know, to go to Utah. So, I mean, I think Isaac Okoro can turn into a really good 3-and-D and probably even more athletic than Agbaji. I just love Ochai's, you know, game and what he brought to Cleveland, and I thought they hit a home run at that pick. So just for them to give them up is kind of surprising. Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton or whatever, because I feel like Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, it'd be really hard for them to play next to each other, or even just for Colin just to sit there, because you know he'd want more money. So I mean, short term, I think the Cavs I mean, this trade, what it makes them a top 4 team in the East, maybe 5-6 range. But again, I don't think Donovan Mitchell's that piece that's going to win you a championship.
Yeah, I think that though, looking from the Cavs perspective too, like, they would have loved to given up. I mean, in your guys' perspective, Isaac Okoro over Ochai Agbaji, but you also have to think about from the Jazz perspective. Okoro has 2 less years on his contract, I believe, than Agbaji. Like, they're going to get 4 years of Agbaji on a rookie contract, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, from their perspective, I don't know if they would want Okoro over like Agbaji because, like I said, they have that 2 extra years of a rookie contract. That just seems a lot more valuable than even though I think Okoro is better than Agbaji right now, especially with NBA experience and whatnot. And then the Cavs even getting off of Lauri Markkanen's contract and not having to pay Sexton, I think that is a really good work. Even getting the best, you get the best player in the deal. And the only thing really looking at it significant that you gave up is first-round picks and you shed a contract that was absolutely awful. I mean, that's a W. And from the Jazz perspective, Caleb, I'll send this over to you. I mean, they still have pieces like Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley, Malik Beasley, Rudy Gay. Like, they could maybe squeeze out 2 first-round picks out of that crew, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think Jordan Clarkson is a guy that most teams are going to want coming off their bench. Mike Conley's a veteran he's got a big contract though, so I don't know how that necessarily works out unless there's like a buyout situation. But like Bogdanovic is a solid role player who can get hot and win you a couple games. So I mean, I definitely think the Jazz are still in this spot where they have trades to make because with this I think it's quite clear the Jazz are going to try to tank. And with this roster they have, they probably wouldn't make the playoffs, but they wouldn't be the bottom 2-3 teams in the West either. And so I think this definitely isn't the end of what we're going to see with Utah. But it's just weird because I feel like Colin Sexton's a guy that he's got so much intensity. Are you really going to tell him to go out there and try to tank? I don't know how that works out. Signing it that sign and trade for that much money. Not that was an absurd amount of money or anything, but they've got a bunch of weird pieces right now. Lauri Markkanen to stay there too. It's I just don't think this is the team. Those 2 guys are guys you bring in if you're wanting to go bottom 3 in the West. So I don't know if that's possible for them to try to trade Lauri Markkanen later on too, because it's right now he's going to be able to fit in with any roster they have because they really don't have a set roster yet. But it's when they get a set roster, how is Lauri Markkanen going to fill in and not help you win games? Because I like Lauri Markkanen. I think he's got a really solid game. And I think that's one of the reasons why we saw Cleveland be they were so willing to give up on him is he has a very solid game. But with that roster Cleveland has, he was playing a lot of 3. And it's that's not ideal for today's league. But from a Jazz perspective, it's I get why they, you get rid of Mitchell, you get in all these draft assets and a guy like Colin Sexton, but it's with the direction it seems like you guys want to go, how are you going to make this all work out? Because you still have a bunch of tradable names, but you're bringing in 2 guys that are pretty solid still in Sexton and Markkanen.
Yeah. And I think the Cavs bench is also going to be pretty solid because, you got Ricky Rubio, guys like Karis LeVert, Robin
Kevin
Lopez,
Love.
the veteran, Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Cedi Osman. So
Lamar Stevens.
Yeah.
I really loved watching Cleveland last year. They were an exciting young team who were close to making the playoffs. And now it's they've gotten better. I'm all in on Cleveland right now. I think from a Cleveland perspective, this is the move to make. Donovan Mitchell's not going to win you a championship. But it's for what you gave up, Markkanen doesn't really necessarily fit in. Sexton wants his money. He's going to want the ball. So that means you're going to have to get rid of out of Garland's hands and Mobley's hands. I think for what they gave up, and your picks probably aren't going to be that great either because you're going to be a solid playoff team now. So I think we're looking at a team that's going to be in the hunt for that 4 to 6 range, trying to stay out of the play-in. Troy, where do you think this puts Cleveland?
Cleveland, to me, is probably easily a top. The East is just so loaded; it's hard to really get a forecast. but I would say out of the play-in. And if you guys remember during our whole Donovan Mitchell, like I made a TikTok and I literally, my number one team for him to go to was the Cavs. And my deal had Okoro and LeVert in it and 4 first-round picks. So, like, them being able to retain LeVert and Okoro and Lamar Stevens, who are the 3 pieces, I thought the Jazz would be like, you know what, that makes the most sense. And being able to retain all of those pieces is great. But sorry, I just had that on my mind. I was like, wait, I think I had a trade to the Cavs. But anyway, but yeah, dude, the Cavs top 6, I think would be exciting. I think that them and the Hawks are probably now like fighting for that. Are they a mid-tier? Are they a top tier? Like, what are they? And that is just so much fun that these like smaller market, you know, not the biggest markets in the world, attacking and trying to win and pushing the grain a little bit. And it's not even like they went out and got a 33-year-old Kevin Durant. Like, no, they got a 25-year-old guard. They got a 24-year-old.
It fits in your timeline.
Yeah, both all-stars, both haven't reached their ceiling. Like, it just makes it's really exciting for these teams. So I'm excited. It stinks that the Cavs are blacked out on NBA League Pass. But I mean,
I'm gonna make a trip up to Cleveland. Like,
you almost have to. Like, that team is just so much fun now. I love it. I think they're deep. They're probably one of the deepest rosters. And honestly, that closing lineup that they could throw out there with Garland, Mitchell, Allen, you know, Mobley, and then you add in either LeVert or somebody like that. That closing lineup is absolutely insane. What do you think, Fred? Like, what is their ceiling, would you say?
I mean, I'm excited just because the league is so spread out right now. Like, I gunned ahead. I don't know who's winning the East or the West next year. But yeah, I think the Cavs definitely, they improved through this trade. Just the competition is going to be so heavy. I mean, you still have teams like Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Boston. I mean, Brooklyn will be good, I'm sure. You never know with how Kevin and Kyrie play, but and Atlanta, of course, got better. So yeah, I think it's going to be a battle in the East. Then, of course, you can't forget about Miami, what they've done. So it's going to be a lot of fun because the East used to be kind of the laughing stock of the NBA, but now they're they might be even arguably better than the West. It's so. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited, and I'm glad something finally happened. I know New York Knicks fans are going crazy right now. So,
yeah, I'm so glad he didn't end up in New York.
If one of you – what were you going to say, Fred?
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna segue into something else.
No, you're good then.
Okay.
I think he was just agreeing with me.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, like turning the page from the Mitchell trade, like, do we have any sort of prediction of what's the next domino to fall? Like, does anybody have a name or a team that goes out of their way? I think that obviously let's keep the Lakers out of it. But like, is there another team or is there another interesting domino that you could see fall? I don't know who I want to send it to because you both look like you're in deep, deep thought. But a little curveball here, like, is there?
I mean,
it's so late.
Be surprised if Tyler Hero ends up somewhere else?
That's an interesting one.
Tyler Hero tweeted something. I mean, he's like salty about something. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to be traded.
That dude just looks like he would live salty.
Did you guys see the report that Cam Reddish wants out of New York?
I did see that.
He doesn't matter. He's not a good pro.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of ridiculous side of the NBA. Is you got guys like I'm pretty sure I saw like Kenyon Martin Jr. was requesting out.
Yeah, from the Rockets. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're gonna get all these dudes that think whatever, but I think we've seen Tyler Hero want a bigger role, and with the team they have, he's not going to get what he wants. He's not going to get as many shots as he wants. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Hero's within the next few weeks.
I don't know why. I'm
not saying I predict it, but
yeah, Miami's not even looking very good at all. Like moving forward, like future wise.
What have they done? Nothing.
Yeah. Really, they have.
There's a couple teams that they need to look at themselves. Like, yeah, our starting five is great, but holy cow,
they need to do a Utah Jazz. They need to do a Ui. Like, figure out. Like, they knew what their ceiling was, and they weren't going to be one of those teams that were stuck in the mud for 5 years, constantly getting eliminated in the first round. Like, there comes a point where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, we are what we are. Now let's make a U-turn and try to do it all over again. Maybe we get lucky and end up with Caleb. Caleb, hit me with it.
What?
Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, Victor Wembanyama?
Maybe they get lucky and the lottery balls fall their way and they end up with their next big thing. But, like, just trying to go out of your way to fortify what could be your future, I think is so smart what the Jazz did. Obviously Danny Ainge's a fantastic rebuilder and tearing down. He did it with Boston and then ended up in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So maybe this is the two deals that kind of put them on their feet. Obviously not for the here and now, but for maybe the future. And so I'm excited. Any closing thoughts from you guys?
I'm going to Cleveland. Y'all are welcome to come.
Shouts out Cleveland, man. Yeah. Still a couple teams that need to make some move. Somebody's wearing their shirt right now, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the Domino's ball. Because Jesus Christ, that is just not a championship roster. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm sure they'll get there. That's all I got.
We'll get there.
Shouts out Cleveland. Ain't much to believe in. All right, hey. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this quick live stream. Wanted to get a reaction of this Donovan Mitchell trade. I'm glad we were able to hop on and give our 2 cents. Boys, thank you all for your takes. Can't wait to see what happens out there in Cleveland. I guess we'll be up there for a game. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't be a star, don't be a superstar. Be an X factor. Change the game. Be different. We'll see you guys next time. God bless and peace out.